I've never prayed you before. I have no tongue for it. No one, not even you, will remember if we were good men or bad. Why we fought or why we died. No. All that matters is that two stood against many. That's what's important. If our Lord pleases you, Crom, so grant me one request. Grant me revenge. And if you do not listen, then the hell with you.
Arnold, what was the greatest challenge bringing Conan to the screen for you?
Well, I think the greatest challenge for me as an actor was to make the character vulnerable, you know, and sympathetic.
And believable, too, yes.
And, of course, believable, but that's always the case. I mean, you always try to do that. But the important thing is when you play a character that is very powerful physically and mentally, and is this fighting machine and this barbarian, to make him sympathetic. You know, that's not easy to do, you know, if you go through a movie and into killings and stuff like that. So I always had to work very hard on that. The physical thing was much easier for me because I was always in good shape and I was used to working hard and doing physical activities. So swinging a 10-pound sword all day long, or climbing ropes, or horseback riding, or being run over by horses, all those things were not that difficult.
Once you knew you had the part and you knew the picture was going to be made, didn't you go through a special training program, though?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I believe that the only way you can do well in anything is by putting a lot of work behind it. So what I did was I went a year and a half before we start shooting the movie to take Kindle lessons and samurai sword fighting lessons and broadsword fighting lessons and all those things, and worked with a lot of weapons, axes, knives, and so on, and then rope climbing and whatever else is involved, and horseback riding, of course, because, you know, I wore 50-pound armor when I was sitting on a horse, and that's very hard to do, to ride fast and have 50 pounds on you and then step off and on and fall off and all those things, you know.
John Milius promised you and the rest of the cast dirt and pain before you went into production. Mm-hmm. Did he deliver the goods? Did you feel a lot of pain?
Milius always delivers what he promises, yes. He is like that.
What were some of the injuries that you had, Arnold?
Well, the first day, as a matter of fact, the first hour we shot this movie, I was attacked by 4 wolves and pulled off a 12-foot rock and then bitten. You know, so all these 4 wolves were just hanging on top of me. And I heard Milius screaming in the background, "This is terrific action, this is wonderful, that's the way I want it all the way through."
This is Milius's realism, yes?
Exactly, and that they pull those animals away. But it was, you know, fighting with this giant snake, you know, they built this hydraulic snake, hydraulically operated snake. And it could lift like 5 tons. Of weight in the front end. And of course it threw me around all over the place, you know, and I had to wrestle with it and all those things. So it was very difficult to do those things, but it was a lot of fun. And whenever we were in pain, John would always say, pain is only temporary, but this great movie is going to be permanent.
This thing in dealing with John Milius, a man who demands so much, how do you handle that on a day-to-day basis? Do you like and admire the man so much you're willing to do whatever he says?
Or did you
have some points of disagreement with
No,
John?
never. We never had a disagreement with John Milius because he knew very much what he wanted. He had a very clear vision of what the film should look like. He's a brilliant director and a wonderful screenwriter. And he brings a certain leadership to the set. You know, we always joked. We always said that he's the dog trainer and we are the dogs. And it was as simple as that throughout the whole shooting. And there was no disagreement. It's fun to work with him because he's very inspirational.
Speaking of inspirational, you have a very inspirational love scene with Sandal Bergman in the film. And I'm wondering, You're an actor who's trained yourself in many fields. When you're dealing with a love scene, what are the things you're thinking about? When you have this beautiful girl there, but you know the camera's behind you, what's going through your mind?
Well, first of all, one would assume when you do a love scene that it is really a love scene, but it is a very technical situation because you have to still, you know, worry about the lights. You have to worry about the distance away from the camera. The director is there and says, "Move a little bit over this way. Okay, kiss now. Stop kissing now. Arnold, look this way." And it's a mechanical situation, step by step, that you really never think about, you know, that you're making love type of a thing, or that you're acting like you're making love. It is probably, those are the most difficult scenes to shoot, you know, because they're very embarrassing, because there are 50 or 100 people watching. All the Spanish guys are hanging there like this, you know, and Juan is peeking through everywhere. Although it was a closed set, all of a sudden we needed a lot of help around it, you know. Everybody wanted to help. Arnold, you need this, you need some more water, and all those things, you know. So it was very hard to shoot those scenes, but then again, you know, I knew Sandal well enough, and also Cassandra, that played the Wolf Witch, that it became a comfortable thing after a while.
There's a scene in the picture involving the tree of woe to which you have been crucified, and a buzzard comes down begins chewing on your neck. And I read somewhere where you actually bit off the neck of that buzzard. Is that true?
Yeah, it was a vulture, and I bit the neck off, but it was already dead when I bit the neck off. It was a dead vulture that they, and they did the close-up with, where I bit into, and it was again one of those weird experiences, because, I mean, it's not something you want to do, bite into a vulture. They're filled with worms and with lice and with all kinds of little insects on it, and they stink like hell. And every time I had to bite into this thing, I had to kind of gargle with alcohol water and stuff like that. So, yeah, exactly.
Arnold, one last question. How do you feel about yourself and about your career right now, and where you want to go?
Well, I feel good, but I feel very hungry to get better.